So I was scraping some algae today and decided, well, I think I'm going to make this tank a dirted tank. This whole tank is going to turn into a multi-part series because after recording and going through what I did and what I'll show you in this video, I have a little bit of disaster and this is going to be an experiment. Now, I'm not a complete noob when it comes to dirted tanks. I just raise a lot of shell-dwelling cichlids in my fish room, and they all need to have the sand bottoms because they dig a lot. So anyways, let's get back to this. I take most of the sand out of the fish tank. This is a 40-gallon breeder tank. And I leave a little bit of sand because I'm throwing this together. So I go out to the backyard and I dig a little dirt, throw it in a bucket, go out to the wheelbarrow in the garage that has my wife's mixture of potting soil and who knows what, and I grab a half a bucket of that, mix it with the dirt, and I throw it in the tank. We'll see what happens, I guess. So with that, I get all the dirt that I mixed up. There are some pieces of grass even in it. I got most of it out, but I can see watching this video there's a little bit of grass. I really don't care because I want to see what's going to happen with this tank. Next thing I'm going to add is some peat moss. So I'm just going to kind of lightly toss some peat moss in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and mix it all together. Now when I'm mixing it all together, it's getting all over my hands, which is fine. I don't mind being dirty. But this is going to lead up to my number one biggest mistake that I did. Well, we'll see if this is actually my biggest, but this caused a lot of problems. And what I did was I added a little bit of water. Well, I thought it was a little bit. It actually ended up being too much. So anyways, while I was filling that up with water, I got this bright idea to go to the river. Yeah, that's right, I went to the river. And why did I go to the river? Because I wanted a little bit of this stuff. This is right off the side of the river. It consists of sand, rocks, mud, who knows what's in there. All kinds of creatures, I'm sure. And I wondered what would happen if you put it in a fish tank. So I kind of took scoop by scoop and poured it in my sloppy chocolate milkshake mix that I have here of way too much water in this. And you'll see that at the end of the video what happens when I try to cap it. But I'm just going to throw this sandy, rocky mixture in from the river. There's probably all kinds of organisms in this. Who knows what kind of creatures. I didn't see anything real big moving around, but you just never know. The whole idea is to see how this works with a dirted tank. I've never used this stuff off of the river. It's all natural, and we're gonna find out. There's no harm. I'm not gonna put in fish right away in this tank. I'm gonna put some plants, but we're just gonna head and put this in there. Looks like we got a freshwater clam. Well, that'll be nice in here. We'll just leave it in. No, what else am I gonna do with it? I don't think it'll hurt anything, but like I said, we'll find out. So now I'm going to start capping. I have about 1 inch of this muddy mixture with the dirt and the river mud and the peat moss. And this sand, I'm going to finish up with some of the sand from the river, but the lighter colored sand was the sand that was in here before. I didn't even really rinse it out that hard. I just kind of got some of the dirt out of the sand. And I'm just going to go across and cap all this down. That way the dirt won't come up into the water column. Now, right about here is where I'm getting frustrated. And I'm getting frustrated because I realized I've added too much water with the dirt when I was mixing it up. So as I'm putting sand on it, the dirt's wanting to come over. I tried taking a cup and scooping some of it out, but I didn't want to get too much of the dirt out. I tried getting some of the water, and then I just got really frustrated and said, you know what, it is what it is. I'm going to put sand in here. If some of it comes over, we'll worry about that later, because you know what, this is just an experiment tank. We have no idea how it's going to turn out, and we're not going to get upset. I got about 50 tanks in the fish room and in my house. Let's mess one up and see what happens. Yeah, it's a real muddy mess. So we're just gonna keep on trucking and add some rocks, and then I'm gonna add a few plants. But at this point, I'm pretty frustrated, really, even though I'm trying to stay positive and know that in the end, it is what it is, and I messed it up, and I could have started over, but I didn't, because this is an experiment. So I go ahead and start filling this up, and it's exactly what I knew it was going to be, all cloudy. So the next morning, I decided I'm just going to take the water out. I want to add some more plants anyways. I have a bunch of random plants in some tanks that the plants didn't really look that well. In fact, that leaf just fell off, but that's okay. The roots are still good. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw some more plants in here. And then I went ahead and ordered some plants because I want to do a video on ordering plants from eBay. So I ordered a whole bunch of plants, and that'll be in future videos. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and add these plants in. I do have an air stone in here, and that's all I'm going to use in this tank. I'm not going to use any other sort of filtration. I'm going to let this be all natural, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill this tank back up. I'm not going to mess with it unless I add more plants, and then we're going to come back in about a week, see how everything's doing, if the water's cleared up, and we'll do part 2 of this video. So if you guys want to give any tips or your experiences with dirted tanks, this one looks like a disaster, but I know in a few weeks to a month it's going to be a great tank. I just don't know about the river mud, because that could cause some problems with some nasty little critters, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you for watching, and we will get back to you next time.